Are the Yankees making a mistake by putting Oswald Peraza at third base, or is that position his for the foreseeable future? That's next on today's Locked On Yankees.
You are Locked On Yankees, your daily New York Yankees podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Yankees, which is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thank you for making us your first listen every day. I'm Stacey Gotsoulias. Today's episode is brought to you by Jace Medical. Empower yourself when you purchase a Jace case, providing you with a personal supply of 5 antibiotics that treat 50-plus infections. Get yours today at jacemedical.com. That's Jase medical.com. With me, as always, is my producer, Steve Granado. Steve, what's going on?
Hey, what's up, Stace? What's up, everybody? Thanks for clicking on the show here today. We really appreciate it. Coming up on today's show, we have a preview of Game 2 against the Toronto Blue Jays. See if the Yankees can bounce back after last night's loss. There was an article in The Athletic we need to talk about the relationship forming between Aaron Judge and Jasson Domingez. Got us thinking about role models. We're going to talk about that a little bit later on. First, Stacey, Oswald Peraza last night in Game 1 against the Blue Jays had a couple of really nice plays. And look, we've talked about it a handful of times. I've talked about it 1,000 times, but I've been a big believer in Oswald since day one, since the first time I saw him last season personally. Been a big believer in his glove, been a big believer in his bat. And the Yankees, didn't play him at third base essentially until he got called up this season. Since being called up, he's only appeared at short twice. Everything else has been at third. He had a couple of games at second. And again, he had a couple of really nice plays at third base. He also threw one ball away. DJ couldn't pick because it hit that edge of the grass. Got me thinking, though, here, Stace. Your thoughts on Peraza playing third? Like, where are you at with that now that we've seen him there a handful of times? Just your general feelings on him playing third base.
I feel like that's going to be his position. And I think he's doing really well because we've said it all along. His athletic ability is really good. And I had a feeling he would adapt to third base because I don't see Volpe being moved out of shortstop. I feel like that's his position now. So I think Peraza is going to be the third baseman.
So that got me thinking here. Obviously, we're only 2 weeks away from the end of the season here. And like you said, it looks like Peraza is going to play third for the rest of the year. But then I started thinking about this. The Yankees might have a conundrum here now in 2024. They very clearly can't send Peraza down. I mean, they could. They have it in their ability to. They absolutely should not. Right. He 100% should be on the opening day roster next year. But you know who's probably going to be back on the opening day roster next year? Is Anthony Rizzo. So where does that leave DJ LeMahieu? Because Gleyber's got second. There's no way Gleyber loses the starting role at second base. He played great this season. So with Rizzo undoubtedly taking first base over DJ swinging a lot better here in the second half of the season. Weirdly enough, Stacey, I think that might leave Volpe as the odd man out. I think we might have a shortstop battle 2.0 come spring 2024 that Oswald might, in theory, kind of have a leg up here. Because if DJ LeMahieu keeps swinging it the way he does, and then Rizzo's got first, Gleyber's at second, and it's down to Oswald versus Volpe again, right?
I forgot all about Rizzo. I forgot about the role he plays in this whole infield equation because he's been gone for so long and I did just totally left my brain. That's going to be interesting because it's just funny that, they originally got DJ to kind of be like, not like a total utility guy, but they were hoping that he'd be playing all over the place and not be in a permanent spot. And then he did what he did. So it's kind of funny that we're at this point now where it's like, well, he might be the third baseman. But I guess maybe that could be the thing in spring training again between Peraza and Volpe. But again, I don't know. I feel like, Boone was saying something about Volpe should be in the running for Gold Glove. And he was like, hyping him up and all this stuff. And I feel like, I don't know. No matter what happens in spring training, I really feel like shortstop is his.
I'm with you in that. I think the Yankees are still thinking as Volpe as the shortstop next year that it's his job. But there could come a point here where push comes to shove. And if Volpe's bat yes, I know he hit 20 bombs this year, and he's done a lot of good things.
Mm-hmm.
But consistency wise, if Peraza's hitting better, he's hitting better. Like
Right.
it just comes down to that, because when it also comes down to is you're losing absolutely nothing with Peraza glove wise, right? Like they are flip a coin, close your eyes, they're the same.
Mm-hmm.
So while I agree with you, Peraza profiles better at third than Volpe does. If it comes down to DJ LeMahieu has third base, 2.0 on that battle at short again this coming spring. Again, I don't know about opening day if Peraza and Volpe are close enough. I don't know if you'd have to like play him out of the water in order to take that position away from him, but it's a good problem to have right now, especially if LeMahieu's bat comes around consistently like it has been. Then we have
to see how Rizzo's doing also, because the head injury is tricky, and if he's still not feeling well, then they can always do what they've been doing. DJ at first, Peraza at third, Volpe short, Glaber second, and they might not have to worry about it. I mean, I hope that's not the case for Rizzo. It would make things easier for Peraza and Volpe and DJ to know exactly where they're going to play. But we have to see how Rizzo is when he comes back in spring training, because that's that's obviously always up in the air. Let us know how you're feeling. Let's say the world that Rizzo is ready for opening day 2024. All things pointing to that he will be, but of course it's always a question mark with brain injuries like that. But let us know what you're feeling. Like, are you anticipating a spring training battle for short again next year, or is Peraza going to take LeMahieu's spot at third? Let us know how you're feeling in the comment section on YouTube. Of course, the Yankees did play last night, Stace. Lost 7-1. Did they? But did they?
They had a game last night. Lost 7-1. Only RBI knock was Glaber, an RBI double in the bottom of the first to tie it after the Springer homer. Man, tough night for Stanton, man. Real tough night. 0 for 4, struck out twice. A couple of double play balls, first and second in the bottom of the sixth inning double play. Clearly couldn't run that one out, then ended the game with the same thing. So, I mean, credit when credit's due. Yusei Kikuchi pitched like how he's been pitching all year. The bullpen looked good, Kikuchi before he got pulled with the neck stuff. But, that was a real tough night offensively, and you were hoping the Yankees would come out of the gate in this series a lot stronger.
Yeah. I mean, what are you going to do? I kind of, as soon as Schmidt gave up that home run to Springer, I was thinking, yeah, all right, maybe not tonight.
Yeah. I mean, his stuff looked pretty good at times. The breaking stuff, the knuckle curve looked pretty good last night. I mean, it's pretty much in line with what we anticipate out of Clarke Schmidt at this point. 5 innings, 4 hits, 4 earned, 2 walks, a K.
I think he's tired.
He's exhausted. He's exhausted. Stacey, he's at 151 innings.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot for him.
That's the most in his life, not just his major league career. He never threw that much in college. He didn't throw that much in the minors. He has never thrown this many innings before. How about this, Stace? Second most inning pitched this season by the Yankees. Garrett Cole's the only one ahead of him.
Yeah. Because they're the only two that have been healthy.
They're all year.
They haven't been suspended for substances on their hands. They haven't been, put on restricted lists for off the field activities. So yeah, it's not surprising, but it is surprising. You know what I mean? It's not surprising because he's been around all season, but it's surprising on September 20th, talking about Clarke Schmidt being second in innings when in April we weren't thinking he was even going to be in the starting rotation at this point. So it's amazing.
Not even this point, a long point ago.
I know.
But again,
like May.
We're going like, once Rodon's back, we'll go. Yeah. The only 2 active players on this roster right now that have thrown 100+ innings are Garrett Cole and Clarke Schmidt.
Crazy.
And then, of course, Domingo Germán's the only other one that has 100+ innings this season with the Yankees. He has 108. Just like we all drew it up.
Exactly.
Just like we all drew it up. 7-1 loss. Got out of hand there at the end there. It was a much closer ball game. Once that double play from Stanton, I was pretty much wrap it up. I started writing things down.
Yeah.
Again, let us know in the comment section how you're feeling about Oswald Peraza and his future here with the club. Where does he fit in? Can he supplant Anthony Volpe? I don't think it's too far-fetched. I know it's the golden boy. I know Volpe's the golden boy, but I don't think it's too far-fetched that if Oswald keeps hitting, look, offense talks, man. Offense talks. That's all I'm saying. Let us know how you're feeling about that. We're going to step aside one time. Of course, you can drop your questions for Fan Mail Friday down below. You can also join Subtext. You guys already know all that stuff. You guys are everydayers. We love that about you. We need to talk about Aaron Judge and Jasson Domingez. And also, we have an update from Hudson Valley and Somerset when we come back. Stick around.
The MLB playoffs are around the corner, which means the clock is ticking on your chance to get 100 times your cash on daily fantasy baseball. Baseball has never been more exciting than it is now, with studs like Acuna, Freeman, and Bellinger in the mix. Pick more or less on stats for these stars like home runs, hits, strikeouts, and more for up to a 100-time payout on Sleeper. Get your picks right and you could win big. I'm StaceFace826, so you can connect with me over there. And just because your personal fantasy team isn't going anywhere doesn't mean you have to miss out on winning this season. So use promo code LOCKEDON and you'll get up to a $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply, and you can see Sleeper's terms of use for details.
Back now on Locked On Yankees. Hey, don't forget, Game 2 is tonight against the Toronto Blue Jays. You can download the SiriusXM app and listen to that. That's the SiriusXM app. Download it today. Listen to John and Susan. Stacy, everydayers know that we recap every single game. We've watched every game this season. Haven't missed a moment. And, of course, we're going to do that tonight because we are, 11 away from the final game of the season? 11 games left. So we're not going to miss anything this year, and we're going to be recapping Game 2 tomorrow on the show, so make sure to hit subscribe. Stacey, I did want to give a tough update, unfortunately. That's what we do. We got to keep you informed, even with the bad stuff. Hudson Valley lost last night. They have been eliminated from the South Atlantic League Championship. They fell 7-3 to the Greenville Drive on the road. Real tough heartbreak, man. It kind of unraveled there in the midway point of the game. Big inning for Greenville. And then they had a bit of a chance in the ninth. They loaded the bases after, or they had first and second with nobody out. Then they picked up a couple outs and then loaded the bases on what looked like was going to be the final out. They dropped it on a pop fly on the infield. They dropped it, and then it just wasn't in the cards. Grounded out into the ball game and the end of the season. So Renegades get swept. It's tough, man. It's tough. It was a fun ride for Hudson Valley, and they end up falling just a little bit short. And also, Somerset ended up losing Game 1 of the Northeast Division final, 9-2 to Binghamton. So that clearly didn't go right. Hopefully, they can bounce back. It's a best of 3, so do or die. As a reminder, all minor league baseball games are free right now for playoff baseball. So you can check out the Somerset website, somersetpatriots.com, and you can watch that. They play Thursday at home, 6:35 do-or-die game against the Rumble Ponies. I got to win and move on, or to stay alive here. Yeah. That's the tough thing. These three game series, man, there's not much room for error. So they got to win. Okay. Stace, there was an article in The Athletic. Love The Athletic. Big fan. Big subscriber. Been for years. The article named Yankees Jasson Domingez's special Aaron Judge story, quote, "I told all my family." I'll link it in the episode description, as I always do. Look, this is a kind of a cutesy nothing burger story.
Right.
Aaron Judge was a human, essentially, to Jasson Domingez.
Yeah.
But it kind of got me thinking, Stacey, about role models and the team dynamic right now. And obviously, there's going to be some changes here in the offseason, changes to the pitching staff. There's going to be not too much changes position player wise, unless we see a big signing. But Judge obviously didn't have the year that he wanted to have. He got hurt twice, and his bat has been a little bit slow lately. So where do you see him in 2024? Just Aaron Judge on the field. And if you want to dive into off the field a little bit too.
I feel like he didn't have a good first season as captain, per se. Everyone was expecting big things after what happened in 2022, and then the contract, and then being named the captain, because I know people like to make fun of the Yankee captaincy, but it's a big deal in Yankeedom, and for him to be named captain and be the first one since Jeter, and there's only been like 15, and, it's a whole thing. So I feel like hopefully 2024, if he stays healthy, he'll have a bounce back year. Don't expect 62, don't expect 60, but I feel like, if he stays healthy, he'll have a big enough year. He's not old yet, and he can still hit the crap out of the ball. And he has all these young kids to mentor. Young kids. I mean, he's not even that old. He's only going to be 32, right? Or 31, but he's like, I think he can be the guy that takes them all under his wing. I mean, there's a bunch of guys who can, but he's the guy who came up through the system and has been with the Yankees that whole time. So I feel like him taking them under his wing is a different thing than someone like Rizzo doing it or someone like LeMahieu,
Yeah, for sure. No, I'm right there with you. I feel like on the field, he'll have a bounce back years. It's always health. It's health for everybody, everywhere, all the time, everything, everywhere, all at once. But yeah, no, I think, Judge could easily come back and have a 40-plus bomb season again. Like, I have no qualms about that whatsoever.
Yeah.
But it also got me thinking, Stacey, about ideal role models for these guys. Let's kind of dive into that a little bit of guys that we figure will be a part of the club next season, and obviously people who will be returning to the club next season. IKF, don't think he's going to be a big role model next year. Just throwing that out there. But we were talking about Oswald Peraza earlier, and I think a great person to have around Oswald is Gleyber Torres. I feel like that's such a natural fit. When Peraza was with the Rail Riders last season, of course, I was there too. He had some role models on that team as well. And particularly some Venezuelan players, and having a Venezuelan around that speaks not only Spanish, which Oswald speaks mostly Spanish, a little bit of English, but having mostly not just a Spanish speaker, but his native tongue from his native land. Like, there's differences in Spanish.
Of course.
And you understand each other when you come from the same place. That's so massive. And that's why Peraza and Cabrera are such good friends, or at least that's part of the reason. They're from the similar areas, they're from the same country. Like, the countryman aspect is so huge, but having Gleyber Torres next to Oswald, I think is just a great, perfect little mix for him to have someone like that in the show. As far as Jasson Domingez, Stacey, of course, we've talked about Judge, but is there anybody else on that roster you think could be a nice role model for Jasson Domingez next year?
Trying to think of like position wise, because I feel like the players would gravitate to the guys who play similar positions and have similar skills, I guess you could say. I'm really just thinking of Judge. I mean, I don't know what Stanton could do other than maybe give him tips on lifting weights, but I don't think Jasson needs that.
Especially considering how he looked heading into spring this year, like the transformation he made in the offseason.
Yeah. No, I feel like Judge would be a good person for Dominguez.
Yeah, I feel like that's a natural fit. As far as Austin Wells is concerned, for me, I feel like Austin Wells and Higgy are just like that's such a perfect little marriage right there. I mean, you're always going to gravitate towards your catchers just in general. Overall, pitching staff, everybody, like your catchers are the players you look up to. Excuse me. But Austin Wells, I feel like Higgy could really be, Higgy's such a calming presence. And I feel like Wells right now isn't hitting, right? And so having that calming presence and just like, hey, man, it's going to be all right. We're all here to work. We're all, it's a long season. Having that calming guy, I think, is be really, really huge so the game doesn't get too big for Austin Wells.
No, we helped him buy a suit, right? Was that the story I read a couple of weeks ago?
Yeah, I know Volpe got some suits bought at the beginning of the season from Judge. Like, I know he bought a couple of suits for
because
him.
A-Rod was the guy that used to do that for the rookies. There's a famous story in 2009 when they had CeCe Sabathia's birthday party and they were all dressed in their fancy suits, and David Robertson did not want to jump in the pool with everyone else because it was one of the expensive suits that A-Rod had bought him because he felt bad. He didn't want to do it. And he kind of got a reputation for not being fun because everyone else jumped in the pool in their fancy outfits. So you want to see veterans do stuff like that, because you always hear when they go for rehab, they're the ones that buy the dinner for the teams and they do all that stuff. And I love hearing about these guys taking these kids to these fancy suit shops and, let's get a, custom suit made. And these kids are probably like, oh my God, because I mean, that's not cheap. And they should do that. And I love hearing stories like that. It's great.
Oh yeah, it's like a real Kingsman moment, like Kingsman 1, where they just walk in and buy the brand new suits. One more, Stacey. I don't know how your thoughts are on this one, just because I'm not 100% if he's going to be a part of the mix next year, at least to start the season. There's still a lot to go on. Everson Pereira. Obviously, he had a weird injury here over the last couple of days in Boston. He fell down some stairs, and that's why he hasn't been playing. But he's kind of day-to-day right now and should be back. But Everson Pereira, I mean, without the cop-out of Judge, like, do you see anyone on this team that he can kind of gravitate towards?
Where's he from?
That's a great question. Let me look that up before I say something dumb.
He
is also Venezuelan. He's also Venezuelan.
All right. I mean, maybe Cabrera, like he can hang out with Cabrera and Peraza along with Torres, because like you said, you see that a lot with players where they, you see guys gravitate towards guys who are from the same state. Like if a guy's from California or SoCal, they're like, hey, my SoCal buddy. And because when you have common things like that. So I feel like maybe he could hang out with the Oswald. That kind of group.
Yeah, that group.
Glaber group.
Yeah, I mean, he played with Oswald, obviously, this season all year. But like for the second half of the year, he never played with Cabrera until he got called up. So at least as far as I know. But yeah, no, that's fair. I think that kind of group, that kind of, yes, it's kind of cliquey a little bit. But like,
yeah,
Latinos stick together, man. That's all I know. Let us know your ideal role models for the rookies in the comment section down below here on the YouTube side. Of course, you can always subtext us as well. There's a 14-day free trial. If you want to text it to us personally, check the episode description. There is a link. All right, one more step aside. We come back. Game 2. Gausman, King. We got to talk about Michael King.
Everyone should be empowered to care for themselves and their loved ones during the unexpected. That's why our new sponsor, Jace Medical, offers the Jace Case. The Jace Case provides 5 life-saving antibiotics for emergency use and gives you peace of mind so that you are not just hoping that you have access to medication in an emergency. Jace Medical makes sure you have the medication in hand. Jace Medical is simple. They handle everything from the online evaluation to licensed pharmacy medication delivery and ongoing consultation and care. So don't get caught unprepared. Save more than $360 by getting these life-saving antibiotics with Jace Medical, plus an additional $20 off by using code LOCKEDON at checkout on jacemedical.com. That's JASE medical.com, and the promo code is LOCKEDON.
Back here on Locked On Yankees, our final segment of the day. Get you set up for Game 2. Of course, you can listen to that on SiriusXM. Download the SiriusXM app today and just search Yankees. Kevin Gausman towing the slab, Stacy. He's kind of like the entire Blue Jays. Didn't have a great last time because he faced Texas.
Oh, because of Texas, yeah.
Yeah. So all these numbers are a little weird, right? We're talking about Kikuchi prior to yesterday's game. We're just like, yeah, well, Kikuchi didn't have a great game last time. Well, it's because nobody had a good game the last time they were playing. But Gausman didn't have his best against Texas, but he's been playing pretty well lately. He's been pitching pretty well lately. But he has been facing kind of like lower level talent. He's, saw Kansas City. He like shoved against Kansas City and things like that. So not that I think the Yankees are some like crazy good, super talented uber powerhouse right now or anything. Right. They're middling. Yeah. But I anticipate to see Florial back in the lineup. Of course, he wasn't playing yesterday because of the lefty on the mound.
The matchup,
yeah. So I'm assuming we'll see Flo again back in center field, and then pretty much the same. I mean, they've been pretty consistent with this lineup lately.
Yeah, which is a change from the whole
the entire season.
65% of the season, no, probably 75% of the season, where it was every day like an 8-sided or 9-sided coin or die, and he was just okay. That's first. Yeah. That okay, basically.
Yeah. Yes. Michael King getting the ball here today, Stace. I just kind of ran some quick numbers. How about this? Since Michael King became a starter, essentially, since he started really starting, 5 games, 19 and a third, only 3 earned. He's given up a couple of unearned runs. Hasn't given up a homer. Has only walked 3 and has struck out 29. Yeah. 29-3 on the K to walk. That's insane.
That is insane. Sometimes I watch him pitch, and some of his pitches have such crazy movement, and I just love how much they fool the batters, because those are my favorite types of pitches, the ones that like dive away and like really trick a guy. I'm hoping that you didn't just jinx him by mentioning, oh, he hasn't given up a home run.
He's given up a home run this year, like
right.
just since he started, like that.
Since he started,
and again, it's those are limited. A couple of those games were like 2 innings, so like
that's true too. So we didn't have enough time to give up a home run.
Yeah, so it was 2-3 innings, 2 in the third.
Some people give up home runs in 2 to 3 innings, but yeah. But I'm really liking what I'm seeing from him, and again, I'm just assuming he's going to be in the rotation next season. Like this is going to be a thing, and he wanted this. He wanted to be a starter. He basically said to them, well, I used to start, so I'll do whatever you need me to do. And this will be the test. We'll see how long he lasts in this game, especially against a team like Toronto. It'll be interesting to see what happens, but it would be great to see him 90 95 pitches maybe.
Yeah, I think he was pretty close to just letting it ride at this point, because he was 87 last time out. I fully anticipate he's over 90 here tonight. And
that's right, he didn't want to come out the last time.
Yeah, and right. I don't think they should have pulled him last time.
No, they shouldn't have last time. But
I think they should have let him finish that 5th inning.
Yeah,
but I think King's well on his way to being a pretty legit 3 or 4. Which is really all you need him to be, because you're thinking about the 2024 rotation. You've kind of, in our heads, already taken Sevy and Herman out. So that's really all you were losing. And, it would take a couple of signings or some massive spring trainings from Brito and Vasquez to take his spot. I feel like King's got a pretty cozy job right now in the starting rotation for next season.
Yep, definitely. It's kind of nice feeling like we're going into this knowing at least 4 of the starters, right? Because Cole, Rodon, hopefully Nestor, King, and then maybe Schmidt. And if they don't do Schmidt, if they maybe say to him, want to go back to the bullpen? Like if they get someone else to be the 5? I mean, we don't know, but I feel a little better coming out of this year and heading into 2024, knowing that they at least have Michael King there.
Yeah, always a backup. Always. At bare minimum, it has totally proven that he can start in the majors.
Yep.
No qualms about that whatsoever. If they end up getting Yamamoto, that would be huge. That pushes a couple guys back. I mean, you really don't know what this offseason has for Nestor. They're going to take a deeper look at that shoulder. Like, they have to. Yeah. So you pump the brakes on Nestor right now. I don't know what you're going to get out of him next year. I think
it's just scary with him because he doesn't even throw the ball that hard. It's not like he's a guy who throws like 98, 99, 100, where you kind of understand why their shoulder wouldn't feel well. He's not really like dialing it up really hard.
And his delivery doesn't really look like he puts a ton of stress on it either. That's the weird part of it. So.
Right. So hopefully it's not anything major. If they do check something out in the off season and they find something, they do it early, whatever it is, that sort of thing. We don't need another one of these. Oh, he's having surgery. He'll be back in August, but that might actually open the door for Yamamoto. So
hey, that door is open for Yamamoto right now. And that bank account might be opening up too.
Yeah.
So Michael King, let us know how you're feeling about Michael King. I know we asked for a lot of comment prompts here today, but we love hearing from you guys. It helps generate ideas for the show, so we really appreciate it. We read your comments. So drop it in the comment section on YouTube about how you're feeling about Michael King as a starter. Do you trust him? Do you trust him for 2024? I think the big part for me, just if I may throw this in there, is workload. Like if he's going to be a full starter, that's going to be a lot of workload that he is not used to, like Clarke Schmidt here this season, right?
Right.
Let us know how you're feeling about that. Of course, come on back for tomorrow's episode. We'll be recapping Michael King's start and, of course, the entire game as we always do. Hit subscribe on either audio or video. And that's going to do it for today's Locked On Yankees. I'm Steve Granado.
And I'm Stacey Gotsoulias. We'll see you tomorrow.